In 2008, Chicago sold its parking meters to private investors for $1.15 billion. Those investors got every dollar of that back within 10 years. They still have 65 years left on the deal, years of pure profit, for a payment the city already spent. Around the same time, in England, a private company built a brand new highway, certain that hundreds of thousands of drivers would pay to use it. So few showed up that a decade later, the company had to renegotiate £1 billion of debt just to survive. Same basic bet, same rough era. One side made a fortune, the other nearly lost everything. This is financial close, and this is why the fine print of a deal decides who wins, years before anyone's watching. Here's the first story. Chicago, 2008. The financial crisis has blown a hole in the city budget. The mayor proposes handing over all 36,000 parking meters in the city to a private company for 75 years in exchange for $1.15 billion paid up front. The city council votes it through in 72 hours. It sounds simple. The city gets cash today, a private company collects parking fees for decades. The kind of deal governments make all the time, all over the world, for roads, airports, water systems, stadiums. Parking rates that were around $3 an hour in 2008 climbed to $6.50 by 2013 and around $7 by 2023. The investors recovered their entire $1.15 billion payment in about 10 years. They still have roughly 65 years left to collect, essentially free. Chicago's own Inspector General later estimated the city had been paid, conservatively, $974 million less than what those parking meters were actually worth over the life of the deal. The city got cash it badly needed in the moment. It gave up decades of future income to get it, and most of that value went somewhere else. Now, the other story. Around the same era, a private company builds a new toll motorway near Birmingham, England, called the M6 toll. No government money in the construction, the company borrows what it needs, builds the road, and plans to pay the loans back from tolls drivers pay to use it. The company's own forecasts expected around 74,000 vehicles a day. That number wasn't a guess, pulled from nowhere. It's what the entire financial plan was built on. How much debt the company could safely borrow, how quickly it could be repaid. Drivers didn't show up in the numbers expected. Within 2 years, traffic had settled at around 50,000 vehicles a day, a third below forecast. Toll revenue came in lower than planned, while the debt taken out to build the road kept accumulating interest. By mid-2005, the company owed £819 million and was losing money every year. The gap between what was predicted and what actually happened never closed. By 2013, roughly £1 billion of debt had to be restructured in court, with the company's lenders, around 30 banks and investors, forced to accept new terms just to keep the road running. Strip away the different countries and the different assets, and both stories rest on exactly one guess. How many people will actually use this thing, and how much will they pay? Chicago guessed the value of 75 years of parking low and gave away hundreds of millions it didn't have to. The M6 toll's owners guessed driver demand high and nearly lost the company when reality came in lower. The industry has a name for betting on how many people will show up, demand risk, but you don't need the term to feel what's actually at stake. Whoever guesses wrong on that one number is the one who pays for it, whether that's a government or an investor. Once you know to look for it, this exact pattern is behind an enormous share of the built world around you. The road you drove in on, the hospital down the street, the airport you flew into, the water coming out of your tap, a huge number of them were built this way. A government makes a long-term deal with a private company. Someone borrows money against a forecast of the future, and decades later, someone finds out whether that forecast was right. Most of these deals never make the news. The ones that do are usually the ones where the guess was badly wrong, in one direction or the other. That's the whole idea behind this channel. Every episode, we're going to take one real deal, a road, a hospital, a power plant, sometimes something stranger, and answer the same question: who actually paid for this, and what happened when the numbers met reality? Some of these deals close exactly as planned, some of them don't. Either way, you'll never look at a toll booth, a parking meter, or a hospital sign the same way again. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.